Hi guys, Mike Lambo here. I'm going to have a playthrough of the Fields of Normandy XL, and I'm going to explain some things as I go along. It's not going to be a complete instructional playthrough because many of the rules are very similar, if not the same as the Fields of Normandy 2. So if you want sort of grounding in the base rules, then have a look at the instructional playthrough for the Fields of Normandy 2. I'm going to play through this one though. As I say, I'm just not going to go into huge detail on some of the rules that have remained the same, but I will highlight differences as I go through so you can have a look at those. So let's get straight on with setup. I've put the turn counter on 1 here. The first thing to do then is to put the German positions on. There is some randomness to the setup here. So the first thing to note is there are always 15 positions in XL. And the first thing is, if I look for the 3 red question marks, there's one at the top, there's one in this farm here, and there's one down on this hill, so they're always placed. And then there are numbers printed on the map, 1 to 6, and there are 3 of each. So I then need a further 4 positions, so 4 of the other 6 potential areas, if you like, will be filled with German positions. So that's going to vary each time. So what I'm going to do then is just roll a die. That's going to give me 6, so position 6. So I find the 3 hexes with the 6s on. There's one there, there's one there, and there's one there. So there's a bit of a pattern to this. So 1s tend to be up here, 2s tend to be over here, 3s here, 4s here, 5s here, 6s there. So it sort of goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not entirely exactly strictly like that, but generally. So 6 has filled up some positions down here. Let's do again. We got position 1, so that's going to be in the top left here. You can see there's one in the woods here, and then there's one in each of these 2 farm positions over here. So that's another 3 positions set up. So 2 more required. So position 5, so that's going to be down the front here on the left hand side. So for this playthrough we're facing some early German resistance. Both 5 and 6 has been filled. And finally then we're going to have position 2, and that's going to be the top right. Okay, so although you can see one is actually over there on this one, and one is actually quite far down there. So as I say, some variance, but generally the 2's sort of in the top right. So that's my 15 positions. So you can see there's 3 3s here that haven't been filled, and there are 3 4s in here which haven't been filled. So there's some variety to each playthrough as you go. Then I'm going to place my units on. I've got 3 potential starting hexes here. I've got 8 units to place, and there is a stacking limit in the Fields of Normandy XL per hex for US units, and that stacking limit is 3. So I can no longer have at any time more than 3 units in a particular hex. So I've got a couple of units over here. As ever, it's always tricky when you're remembering to explain the rules to play your best game, but we'll see how that goes on. It feels like there are more German units over on the right, so I'll give a little, let's put the mortar in the middle here to help either. Let's put the lieutenant over there, it's a new unit. The sniper might be useful. I can get on that hill, so I'll put the team in this farm at the bottom there, and then maybe send the MG over with that rifle unit and the bazooka in the middle, because we don't know what's going to happen. Remember, we need bazookas for half tracks really, and units in buildings can be useful as well, although there aren't any buildings down here. This one is empty for this playthrough. They're up there, so you know, things to think about. So that's the setup. So we'll start, and so let's ascertain the orders for each unit as we go. The order chart is different from Fields of Normandy 2. For a start, obviously there are 6 sections to it now, so there's a sniper and the lieutenant have their own orders parts, and 1 or 2 new orders on there which I'll deal with as we come to them. Let's start over here. Let's do rifles 1, see what they get. They get a 1 and a 5, so they can rally the scout, or they can take cover or do an assault, and or do an assault with 5. Assaulting's no good for them at the moment, so let's scout this position over here. So we'll see what's there. That is indeed a half track. Fortunately, we've scouted that, so we're going to face that off over to the left there. Still needs to face one of the downward 3 positions. The MG then's probably not going to really do much here now. 1 or 2 doesn't help anyway. Can take cover with that. I suppose we might as well. So that's them done. The mortar then is, sorry, nudging the camera there. I might leave the mortar for now. Let's do the sniper next, see if he can get a scout order. He's got a 1 there, which is indeed a scout order for this sniper, so he's going to scout. Let's scout this unit here. Okay, that's a 6, so that's actually a minefield. So let's put that in. That's not going to cause us too many problems, I don't think. We can probably just leave that one as we go through. There. We've got then the bazooka unit. Probably not going to do a great deal. Gets a 4 and a 5. Can fire, move and fire with a 5, so just move him up. Actually, we can't do that. Okay, well, the reason I can't do that is because there's a wall here. Now, these walls are not sort of little broken down stone walls. They're high, you know, 6-8 footers round farms and things. So the heavy weapons teams have more trouble. They need to use a scale order to get over the walls, which is a double. So the bazooka can't go that way, can only move that way and that way with a normal move. And at the moment, does it want to do that? No, probably not. So let's leave him there. Okay. We haven't done the mortar yet. I'm going to just dig in my little tray of cubes here, because what I'm going to do is just use a few cubes to mark out the units that I've activated. It can be useful, I think, to do that. Sometimes you just get a bit lost as to which units have activated and which haven't. So I'm going to take out a few cubes. Any old counters, markers, buttons, yeah, whatever you want will do for this. So yeah, I'll just stick one over there just to remind me they're done. I'll leave the mortar for now then. Actually, bazooka could have taken cover. Might as well take cover. If you can take cover, it's always best, I guess. Good practice, just in case an artillery strike comes in or something. It won't affect them in the buildings anyway, but there you go. Let's do then rifles 2. If that's a 2 and a 4 now, because they're on the same hex as the lieutenant there, we could re-roll, even though it's a non-double. You can do that once per turn per unit that's on the same hex as the lieutenant. The lieutenant himself can't do it. No, he can't do it. Can't re-roll their own dice. So it's just the order dice you can re-roll, not attack dice or anything. So we could re-roll that if we want to. We've got a 2 and a 4 here, which is moved to cover. Doesn't really help. I think I'll re-roll that. The scout order would be quite nice. We haven't got that. We've got a move and fire order, so we could move them up, see what's in here, then take a shot at them. Yeah, a bit knows. Haven't got mortar support. Yeah, we probably should have moved the mortar over by now, Mike. Yeah, we probably should. Okay, let's just leave. We'll take cover actually with a 5, I think. I'll take cover with a 5, so he's been. The mortar then, let's get him moved over. 2 and 6, can we do that? Rally cover and smoke and cover. Oh dear, he can't do that either, so let's put some cover on him. Okay, probably move these cubes now. Now I know we just got rifles 3 and the lieutenant to do. So rifles 3 gets a double. So I'm going to use the double. I'm going to re-roll the double in the normal way. So not using the lieutenant skill yet. Could move to cover, could move and fire. I really want to rally those. So I'm going to re-roll those using the lieutenants. Re-roll, can't re-roll them again. Do I push up or no? I'm going to use the 5 again to take cover. The lieutenant themselves. And this is a lieutenant, but also a little team of, you know, there's a few guys around him and a couple of rifle guys or whatever, so can attack and so on. And he's going to take cover as well. For now, okay, so not perhaps the most productive first go, but I have uncovered a couple of units. Nothing for the Germans to do. The half track is out of the way. Fortunately, we scouted that minefield, so that didn't attack the unit that found it, of course. We move to turn 2. Let's go again. Let's try and deal with this half track. We can grenade attack it, of course. We've got a move and grenade fire there for the rifles unit, so it's going to move up there and then throw a grenade. Just mark it as done. So the grenade attack is, as before, always a 7+, ignores cover and all of the modifiers. We've got an 8 there, so the grenade lands in the top of the half track and destroys it and everyone in it. So that's a good move. The MG then gets a move to cover, so it will move and, as before, lose its cover by doing so, but then find new cover because it was a move to cover order. So again, let's put those on there to show those two have done. Okay, let's try and get rid of this. Let's get the mortar into play. Come on, mortar. 2 and 5. Can you move? I don't see why not. Yeah, move and smoke, in fact, there. So again, it'll move and lose its cover. But we're going to move that into here, to these trees. We're not going to use the smoke, I don't think. I don't think we are, because we've got a few rifles. We could smoke this position. You can smoke enemy positions even though they're not yet discovered. So then we could move on, discover it, and it would obviously have a -2 to its hit. But because we've got 2 rifle squads and the lieutenant with them, I think rifles 2 will go next. Okay, that's got a double. So that allows it to clear an adjacent minefield or a minefield on its own hex. So this is 2 away, so we can't do that. That's move and fire. I think we're going to do that actually. So let's move this rifle unit to here. And it's going to then discover what's in this hex here, which is an 8. Oh, that's a shame. So that is another half track. And that's going to be facing this rifle squad, which is a real shame because he's out in the open. He can't then fire at the half track, of course. Can only destroy that with grenades. So that's not good. However, we can now do rifles 3 and hope for the 3 that we require. That's not going to work, so we'll re-roll that using the lieutenant's ability, and that doesn't work, but we can roll, because it's a double, we can re-roll it again. So into mitigation, let's roll that. Again, it's a double, so come on, let's have a 3. Oh, it's 1 and 5, which is no use whatsoever. So we can rally a scout or assault an adjacent unit, of course, which the half track is not, so we can't do that. Or take cover, it's already in cover. So we could scout, but there's nothing in there's nothing that is 2 hexes away, I should say, so we can't scout either. That's a real shame. That's a real shame, actually. Okay, lieutenant can't do grenade attacks either, so we're going to take some fire here. Now I'm wishing I'd smoked that position, of course, with a mortar, but I didn't, so that's tough. Lieutenant's probably going to stay where it is, but I'm going to roll for it, because if he gets a double, I could call in artillery. And we could have tried to artillery that out of the woods. We can't do that. He hasn't got that, so that's done. Let's do the sniper. Okay, 5, 6. So he could move to cover or move and fire. Now, if the sniper moves and then fires, suffers a +1 penalty to its to hit value, just like bazookas and MGs you may recall from Fields of Normandy 2. Sniper can scale the wall, can move across the wall, is not deemed to be a heavy weapons unit, of course. I think do I need to move him as any point? I think I'll move him there just so if he does get a scout, he's got a couple of options there. Let's move him over there to cover. Yeah, 5 was moved to cover, so he'll move to cover. Finally then the bazooka. I don't think they're going to do much here, are they? No, I think I'll stay there. Okay, so that brings us to the end of that turn. So the half track then will fire. Half tracks fire with a 6+, and there is no modifier for me. I have no cover right out in the open. Nothing at all, so it's just a 6+. That's a 7, which means my Rifle 2 squad is now at low morale. Should I have moved my bazooka nearer? Maybe I should. Should he be coming to help? I don't know. Let's see. Right. Move on to turn 3. Let's go with Rifles 3 first. Right. He's got the 3. He's got to go for this, I think, for the time being. So he loses his cover, runs out into the open, and chucks a grenade. Remember, it's a 7+, no modifiers. That's a 10. So that's good. So at least we've cleared that position. Rifles 2 then. Hopefully he gets a 2, so he can rally back to full health, which is great. And what I should have done then, of course, is move my lieutenant into his hex first to give him 2 shouts at that. But fortunately, he succeeded, so I don't need to worry too much about that. Let's do the lieutenant. He's going to go... We could call it artillery. There's nothing to attack, so we can't do that. 5 is fire and cover, so I'm going to re-roll that as a double. We'll take the 3, which is move to cover, so he's going to move up there and remain in cover accordingly. Okay. We've got this side to think about, haven't we, here? Let's do the sniper and see if we can't scout something. We can't with that. So he could move and fire or move to cover. What do we think? I feel like I've got off to a bit of a slow start, so I think he's going to move to cover into these trees. So he maintains his cover. He also gets cover from the trees. Or should he be moving to fire? No, he's going to move to fire. So he loses his cover. He's going to move and fire. So he moves there. We discover what's on the hill. That's a 9, which is actually all clear. So there's nothing up there, which is great. And then he would have fired. Remember, snipers fire at 7+, but because he moved, it would have been 8+. With no terrain, bone, or other modifiers at all, other than smoke, which wouldn't have applied. But he can't fire now, of course, because there is nobody. He's not on a hill, so if they're on a hill, their range extends to 2 hexes. But he's not, so he can't do anything else. He couldn't shoot at that position anyway, because it's not revealed. So he's gone. Decision to make with that. Bazooka, let's try and get you moving, shall we? 2-5. That's moved and fire, so we'll move up there. Can't fire, but we'll move up there now. Not crossing a wall, so that's okay. Now I got this in here. We've got to decide what we're doing this bazooka, I think. I think we'll take, sorry, not the mortar. I think we'll take the mortar round to this hill and then decide which way we go. Hopefully they should be enough to clear that, so let's bring the mortar that way probably. Let's try and move it first. 3 is move to cover, so that's going to move onto the same hex as these bazookas, the bazooka and the sniper. Okay, let's mark those as all done. And just over here then, I think now the mortar is supporting any attack on this unit. I think we'll try and move the rifle across and see what's there at least. That is a 6, so we'll do that. We'll move to there. We could move into cover. It's tempting to move into cover, but it's also tempting to move and fire. It just depends on what that is under there. If it's a half track, we're in a bit of trouble. Let's move and fire. So we'll reveal what that question mark is. Would you believe it? I can't believe that's 3 half tracks we've found already. Crazy. It's only an 8 that brings up a half track. That's 3 of them. So he can't now attack it. We've nothing else that can either. The MG is probably just going to stay there. It can only come across this bridge. I suppose it could go. Let's roll and see what it gets. 2 and 4. I think we'll leave it there. Could move into here. Could move into cover here and reveal that, but there's just no point. If it got a 6, I might have moved and attacked, but there we go. Okay, that's me done. Let's take these counters off. The half track then will fire at 6+. Fortunately in the trees at least makes it 7+, but it's still a fairly high chance of hitting. Actually, it's not. It's a 6, which means the trees have saved that rifle squad. Now we move on to turn 4. Move on to turn 4. Okay, let's push up this right hand side. Let's do rifles 3. They got a double 5, that's no good. Reroll that. They got a 2 and a 5, which is always bad when you're trying to move, so they can't move with that, so they'll have to sit there, I'm afraid. So for whatever reason, the orders are not getting through, or they're a bit concerned about fire in the area, whatever, I don't know, but they're not moving, so they're staying there. Rifles 2 gets a move. Oh, we've got a scout order there. Let's do that. Let's scout this position here. Okay, that's a 5. Oh, good job we did scout it, because that is a heavy machine gun, and we're going to face that, I think, over towards that farm, on the basis we can then get onto this hill next to it. And the lieutenant, might as well roll for it, does get a double, so I think what we're going to do with that is just call in an artillery strike. Okay, so this is the difference between this game and Fields of Normandy 2. In Fields of Normandy 2, rifle squads could call in artillery. Here, it's only the lieutenant that does that on a double. So you don't get quite as many, but they're still very useful when they do come. So I think we're going to take that as an artillery call. And artillery attacks all revealed German positions, German units, on an 8+ to hit, except tanks, I should say. It doesn't have an effect on tanks. 8+ to hit. Smoke, woods and buildings bonuses apply as normal. So this 8 becomes a 9 because it's in the trees. So we need a 9 for that. We get a 7, so that's a miss. This is an 8. It'd be really nice to get rid of that. Unfortunately, that's a 4, so that's a miss. Sorry, that's been, hasn't it? Over here then, let's see what this rifle squad can do. It's a 1 and a 2, that's very poor. Okay, they can fire, but that's no good. They can rally, of course, no good. They can scout with a 1, so I really wanted a grenade attack, of course, or at least to take cover. They can't do either of those things, but they can, whilst they're there, scout this position. So they notice up on the hill, nothing, in fact. So somebody has time to have a good look and realise that actually whatever was there has moved out. So we hit another all clear position, so quite fortunate we've had 2 of those already. But it does leave him in the line of fire of that half track, so hopefully this bazooka can do something about that. It gets a 5 and 6. They're both the same for a bazooka. They're both move and fire orders, so the bazooka will indeed do that, I think. So it's going to move into the trees with the rifle squad, and it's going to fire at this half track. And a bazooka team hits on a 7+, can only remember hit larger targets, so half tracks, tanks, in fact panzers only. It's not strong enough to breach a tiger or cause significant damage to a tiger. It can attack panzers, half tracks, artillery, and any unit in a building. So it can hit the half track. It hits on a 7+, however it did move, so moving before firing is a +1, so 8+ to hit the half track. Half track itself has no cover. Need an 8, we get an 8, and that destroys the half track. Excellent. Okay, the MG then gets a 2 and a 5, doesn't sound particularly helpful. It's not, there's nothing, can't move with that, so again, for whatever reason, the MG is only just getting to hear that the half track has been destroyed, so hopefully next time we'll be able to move in. Okay, sniper gets a 5 and 6, which is quite useful actually. We're going to take the 6 there. The 6 is a move and fire order, so what the sniper is going to do is move up onto this hill. So move on to this hill, and then it's going to fire. Okay, because it's on a hill, and the sniper gets a range then of 2 hexes. So it can shoot at this heavy machine gun here, which won't fire back because all other units only have a range of 1, remember. So the sniper, because of its scope and being on a hill, can now shoot at the HMG. Snipers are always 7+, and there are no amendments to that for terrain. So it doesn't get the hill bonus. Okay, it's already got a bonus for being on a hill. And in fact, it kills on a 7+ means it's already a powerful unit. It ignores the farm, in the intervening farm, just ignores that, but sees over the top of that, and it ignores the trees. So with his scope, it can focus right in on these guys on the HMG. So it's 7+. However, it did move before firing, so it does become an 8+. So this would be a really good hit. And that's a 9, so we've cleared the heavy machine gun. Excellent. I feel like we're being pretty lucky here, but that's good news. The mortar gets 2 and a 6, which is, again, no move order for them. So that's the end of my turn. Nothing on the board, so we move to turn 5. We're doing all right. We're doing all right. I need to get moving, but now we can. Remember, we had a real strong resistance across the front at the early stages of this map. We've cleared virtually the whole of that. We've got this to deal with, and then we're up into those farms at the top. But now we've got to spend a few turns moving there. So let's try to do that. Rifles 1 gets a 2 and a 3. 3 is a move and grenade, so they will just move straight up there. Can't take any cover. Bazooka gets a 2 and a 6. The 6 is a move and fire order, so again they'll move up, but without firing, of course, nothing to fire at. The sniper, actually I'll leave that for a moment. Well, I know I won't. Let's do the sniper. 2 and a 6. So again, the 6 is a move and fire, so they'll move up to there, but again, there's nothing to fire at. Come off the hill. MG, could do without getting a move on. 6 is a move and fire, so again, they'll move across the bridge, lose their cover. Nothing to fire at, so they'll stay there. The mortar, I'd like to move it over here, but let's go around this minefield first. 4 is a move to cover, so they'll move onto the hill and retain their cover. Over here then, rifles 3 gets a double 3, that's move and grenades. I think we'll take that as a 3 and just move up to the hill there. Rifles 2, sorry, not to the hill, behind the hill there. Rifles 2 get a 4, which is a move to cover, so they'll take that. They can't scout from where they were because it's 3 hexes distance. So that's those 2 down. I won't bother marking them, we know that. And the lieutenant gets a 4 and 6. And move 4 is a move to cover, so again they will move up here as well. That's me. Nice quick turn. Some moving. Everybody moved up there, I think, which is good. Nothing for the Germans, so again we move to turn 6. We'll deal with this flank first. A little bit more to think about here, isn't there? Tempted to do rifles 3 first, actually. Let's try that. And what I'm going to do is, actually I'm going to move up here. I'll take the 6. Let's move and fire, and I just hope for once this is not a half track. Well, be careful what you wish for, Mike. That's a heavy machine gun, which is at least it means we can have a shot at it, but of course if we don't get rid of it, it's a stronger unit than a half track. So we are going to shoot that rather, with a basic 9+ for a rifle squad. Remember, they don't suffer a penalty for moving and firing, so 9+. That would be reduced to, oh, we should have moved the mortar in again, Mike. You forget that every time, don't you? 9+ would reduce to 8+ because I'm on a hill, but increased to back to 9+ because the unit is in trees. So 9+ to hit, and we do get a 9. Wow, pretty good. Again, That's unlucky. It's unusual, isn't it? Usually I get stuffed by my own games. Rifles 2 then gets a 2 and a 6. I think we'll just take that. 6 as a move and fire, so we'll just move up there. Lieutenant gets a 1 and a 3. A 3 is a move to cover, or cover and move to be precise, but remember you can do them in either order. So move to cover. So they're all, I think they're going to stick together, this little band of 3. They're doing pretty well actually. I think we'll have them come in this side and deal with that unit at the top. And this sort of very mixed arms group can try and deal with all these. And quite how they're going to do. We need some scouting really over here, I think, in a minute. Sniper then gets a 1 and 6. We'll take this. Can't scout from here, so we'll take the 6 and move into there. It's a move and fire, but he can't fire, so we'll just do that. Then we'll take the rifles 1. They get a, again, they get a scout, which they can't do, unfortunately. 5 is cover and assault. They can't do that, so let's just put them into some cover, which is more important when they're out in the open like that unit is, just in case an artillery piece is discovered anywhere. Bazooka gets a 6, which is a move and fire, so they're going to go up into that area there. You can move through bocage without any problems. Mortar gets a move to cover, which is a 3 result, so I'll go up there. And the MG finally gets a move to cover. So move up into this field under cover. And again, it's a sort of moving turn, if you like. We've done that. No Germans, so that's okay. Move to turn 7. Let's keep pushing up the right here. Rifles 3 gets a double 1, which is no good, so we'll roll that again. And they get a 4, which is move to cover. So we'll take that. Rifles 2 gets a 4, which is move to cover. Take that as well. Nice. And the lieutenant gets a 1 and a 6. 6 is move and fire, so we'll move him up there. He loses cover, but that's okay. They're all done. Right, sniper could do the bit of scouting here. We got a 1, that's a scout order, so we're going to scout this front farm here. What do we find in there? We find a heavy machine gun. Another one, wow. Okay, well, this time we're going to place him facing off to the left there, so we can come down that way, I think. The bazooka could attack him. Let's roll for the bazooka. He gets a 4. That's not a moved cover, is it? No, it's a fire and cover. That's a rally and cover. That's no good at all, really. He's going to take cover with that. The mortar team is going to move up to cover. And the rifles 1 gets a double 5, which is not much use for him, so it's going to get a 5 and a 6. So we'll take the 6 there, which is move and fire. So we'll just push him up into there. Loses cover, and the MG finally gets a double 1, which is a move actually, so we'll just take that. You can move, it's move and scale, so that allows them to climb over a wall, well, you know, move over a wall effectively. When he moves into there, using it instead. Okay, let me just talk about that move and scale order. Actually, the scale order is not itself a move, quite clearly expressed in the rules as such. So you always have to use them both. So you can only do a scale order, obviously, if you're full morale. You can't do it if you're low morale. Remember, low morale units only do the first order. So if this MG unit were sort of here, and it for some reason it wants to move back into this farm, then it would need a scale order to get over that wall. If it rolled a double, what it would do then is use the scale order and the move order together to move into the farm, scaling that wall as they go, kind of thing. So that's how that sort of works. I can't remember where this was now. I moved into there, didn't I? That's right. And that's it. That's all done, I think. Okay, nothing for the Germans, an HMG, but its fire zone is around here. So it's not going to do that. So we'll move on to turn 8. And away we go again. I think we're going to be all right here, to be honest. I think we're going to be all right. Rifles 2. Gets a 6. Do I roll that again? No, let's just keep going, Mike. So move up there. That blocks any artillery appearing in that A hex there, which is good news. Rifles 3 gets a move to cover with a 4 there, so it goes into there. Couldn't scout, it's too far away. And the lieutenant gets a move to cover, which is 4 for him, so that's good. So they're all up there. Nicely done. Again, nice little group going up there. You find in this game it's much more common to split your forces because of the size of the map. You really have to have one going down one side, one going down the other. Now I know that was true to some extent in Fields of Normandy 2, but the maps were only 5 hexes wide, so you could always, you could sort of run your mortar up the middle, for example, and they would always be able to help on both sides with their 2 range. But now, whilst my mortar is in the middle here, obviously it can't reach right over to the left or over to the right, so quite often you're having to decide which side, and quite often you will split your forces into 2 definite groups. So there's a lot, again, there's just more decision making involved. Let's have a look up here. Let's try the sniper and see if we can't scout somewhere else. We've not got a scout with that. We've got a 3 and a 6. So they could move to cover, or they could move and fire. Tempting to move there and fire at the HMG. Remember, if you fire and miss, then units spin round. They sort of turn a face unless you attack them directly from behind. So that would be a bit dangerous because it would then be facing down the map. Grenades don't do that. I'd rather put a grenade on it if possible, but that might cause a bit of a delay doing that. Also, if it moves into there, obviously it's going to reveal this unit, which could be problematic. Do we want to do that? Because that is a tricky position. It's got a +2 defense from the buildings, but also a +1 from this wall. Okay, so when you're attacking across a wall both ways, you add 1 to the defense rating, or to the hit value required, I should say. So I don't think I'm going to put my 2 snipers ignore that, don't they? Do you know what, Mike? Let's do it. Let's do it. That's what snipers are for. Let's go for it. Sniper goes there. So takes position in this field. Unfortunately not in cover because he's going to attack. We're going to reveal what that unit is. It's a 7, which is a light machine gun. Okay, so we're hitting a bit more defense up here. And we can then shoot. The sniper, remember, is a 7+, so yes, ignores all that terrain, which is great. Just what we want. Ignores the wall, ignores the buildings, so it hits on a 7+. Only smoke would affect that, and the fact that it's moved, of course, adds 1 to that, so it's 8+ to hit. And I've got a 9. Ooh, it's my lucky day today. This could have been a lot tougher. Could have been a lot tougher. And that, because I didn't shoot at the heavy machine gun, it doesn't affect its position. Let's see what the bazooka can do. Okay, it's got a 5, so I think we might take that. So the bazooka is then going to move into these trees. And because I'm feeling so lucky, it's going to do the move. It's not going to not take cover, but it's going to move and fire at the HMG. Now the bazooka always hits on a 7+. It ignores the buildings bonus, not the walls bonus, but ignores the buildings bonus because it's just putting a missile basically into the building that contains the HMG. So 7+, but it did move, so that does become an 8+. So again, we did an 8+, but this time we've got a bit of support going on, haven't we? The sniper doesn't get support, so it didn't get support from the mortar. But the bazooka does get support, so the 8 becomes 7 because of the adjacent sniper. And then 2 in the usual way for the mortar makes it down to 5. So the 7 becomes 8, 7, 6, 5. 5 to hit, and that's a 7. So he smashes that to pieces. Brings the whole building down. Rifles 1 gets a move to cover, so moves up into cover. And the MG, I think, is stalling there again. Yeah, we've struggled a bit with the MG, haven't we? Haven't really done anything yet. And the mortar team could do with moving up as well, I think. Gets a move to cover. So it goes up into there. Actually, does he? No, he probably doesn't actually. I think he's going to go into there, because then he can support attacks on these three positions here. Okay, that's me done. Again, no Germans. Done really well here. We're almost in the victory point scoring turns. We're still not there yet, which is great news. If we ever win before 10, you get the 12 victory points, but that's not going to happen. These are really only relevant for the campaign, I should say. This is not, it's not a case of you always win and it just depends how many victory points you get. It's not the case at all. The point when you play a one-off mission like this is to win, which means to clear the map by turn 14, and that is not as easy as I've made it look today. Trust me. It's not as easy as I've made it look. I have been particularly lucky with some of my dice rolls, but that's good. That's good. I've also played fantastically well, of course. Rifles 2, then. Let's see what they do. They get, let's do that. Yeah, let's use a 3. So they're going to move into these woods, into these trees here. And then they are going to throw a grenade at whatever appears on that hill. And we find that that is actually a sniper. Okay, so we rolled a 3. Now the German unit chart just off the camera there, it says that a 2, 3 or 4 is actually a rifle squad, but it says sniper if on a hill hex. Okay, so this would normally be a rifle squad, but because it's a hill, then we get a sniper. Okay, it's facing them in the usual way. And snipers work the same as they do for the US. They have a range of 2, so they will be firing at the usual fire zone there, there and there, but also the extended 2 hex fire zone, so there, 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 and there, and there, if that were a hex. Yeah, so you see what I mean? It's like the arc is extended out 2 hexes. And there's a diagram in the rules to show you how that works. So we uncover the sniper. We do then get to throw a grenade at it, and the hill doesn't affect that. It's just a basic 7+. So this will be a good chance to get a good time to get it. I'm going to roll that one again though. It's a bit stuck. It doesn't make any difference whatsoever because we've already got a 6. We've hit that, and the sniper is removed again. We've been pretty lucky there, because that would have put a bit of a spanner in the works, wouldn't it? If that had been he'd have been shooting at all of these units, and our sniper as well. Now we can move everyone else down here. Rifles 3 gets a move to cover, so they go there. In fact, I guess they might as well go in these trees, and they might as well go in the trees. And the lieutenant gets a move and fire, so we'll put him in there without his cover, and that is those 3 done. The reason to group them, of course, is then they can both use the lieutenant's reroll, can't they? Let's have a look over here then. So let's do the sniper. You never know, might be able to scout something here. He can't scout. He can't do much with that, can he? He can rally or fire is no good. He can move to cover. Actually, it's half tempting to move him into there and put him into cover, because he's very well protected with the buildings, the wall here, and extra cover. But he is revealing 2 units, and that is always a little bit worrisome. Shall I do that anyway? I mean, he's got the mortar could put some smoke in if necessary. So I'm going to do that. Let's go for the big win, Mike. Let's go for the big win. So let's see what this one is here on the left first. That's an 8. Oh joy! So that is a half track, which is unfortunate, and the other one is a 4, which this time will be a rifle squad because it's not on a hill. Okay, so sniper moved to cover, of course, so let's put him in cover. He didn't move and fire, so he can't attack any of those 2 things. He's in a little bit of spot of bother, but he has got a lot of cover there, as I say, a lot of cover. He'd be unlucky to get hit. Plus, there is still support for him. We'll leave the mortar for now. Let's do the bazooka. That's a 1 and 3. We could move to cover. We could move him into there. But then he's going to get hit. He's going to get shot at by the half track. But again, he would have an awful lot of cover. Yeah, maybe that's just pushing it for no reason. Let's leave the bazooka there. Just put some cover on him for now. Not do the move bit. Rifles 1. They've got a 5 and a 6. Yeah, scout order would have been nice, but do they move and fire? I think again we should leave that for now. Actually tempted to move them. No, let's leave them there because we might need their grenade ability on the half track. So we'll leave them there for now. The MG. Well, let's do the mortar next. Mortar gets a 2 and a 6. The 6 does allow them to smoke. 6 is a smoke and cover. They're already in cover. They could pump some smoke here. Remember, 2 hexes away for smoke, exactly. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So they can put smoke onto the half track, which is probably going to make that pretty redundant for the next attack phase, which is good. And then the MG is going to have to go a slightly different way. He can't move with that, can he? Oh, he can't. He's been awful. He's been awful. And MG's moved just as easily as anything else. I mean, they have just as many move orders, but for some reason I haven't rolled them that often for MG. I mean, he's up there with them, but he's always been behind, hasn't he? That's us done, and that leaves then the Germans to attack. This rifle unit then attacks on a basic 8+, and because my sniper is in buildings, that becomes 10. And because he's then in extra cover there, becomes 11 to hit. So 11 required for this rifle. It's quite, gets a 10, so that's a near miss. And this half track, because it has smoke on it, would usually shoot on a 6+. It's 7, 8 for the buildings, 9 for the cover, 10 for the wall, 11, 12 because of the smoke. So he actually needs a double 6. Because my sniper couldn't have been in a better position really there. So firing out of the smoke randomly at this building, and that has not hit my sniper, as you would hope. We move to turn 10. We go again. Okay, let's start over here again, get these in as far as we can. So let's do rifles 2. They get a move grenade, so they're just going to go there. Rifles 3. Oh, I can't move, re-roll that. He gets a move and grenade, so he's going to go there. Is he? No, he's going to go there. Again, might as well keep these things together. And the lieutenant is going to get a move and fire. So they lost all their cover, but they're all in there. And ready for the off next turn. Let's do the sniper. It's a 1 and 2. He's not got. Oh, he has got a fire order. The 2 is a fire. 2 is rally and fire. I think he's probably going to fire, isn't he? He's going to fire at the rifles. He cannot fire at the half track. Just checking the charts over here. For that half track, where are you, half track? There you are. Can only be destroyed by assaults, bazooka, grenades and artillery. Makes sense, doesn't it? So he can't shoot at the half track, but he can shoot at the rifle, so he's going to do that, I think. Or he could actually scout that position there and just stay in cover there. Let's shoot the rifles. Be a basic 7+, no modifiers, doesn't get any support. So 7+, and that is another successful attack roll from me, which is great news. So he's done. Let's do the bazooka. Gets a double 3. It doesn't really help. Good move to cover. So I'm going to do that as well. Move to cover is an underused command, but moving into buildings like that, there's no wall there, of course, so he can move straight in there. He's moved, he keeps his cover, he's moved to cover order, and because he's in the buildings, that, you know, again, he's in the same position as a sniper, and certainly in relation to the half track. Let's see what's in those trees next to him. That's a light machine gun. Okay, that's not so good. That's not quite so good. Hopefully we can deal with that in different ways. Let's do this rifle squad under here. So rifles 1. That's a move grenade. And I think he's going to move... Ooh, no, he's not going to do that, surely. No. He's going to move into these buildings. So I'm going for this very aggressively now. I want to get a decent chunk of... I might start a campaign with this mission now. Now I know I'm winning it. Because I'm doing so well, I think. Very lucky, but so you can chuck a grenade now either at the half track or at the LMG. It's going to 7+ to hit either of them. So who do we want to get rid of the most? Probably the LMG actually. Yeah, because the half track's behind a wall. So let's get rid of the light machine gun on a 7+. Oh, that's a 6. Blimey, I've actually missed something at last. The MG gets a 3, which is moved to cover, so he comes into there, I think, for now. And the mortar, he doesn't get any smoke there, so he can't do anything to help. So that leaves us a little bit more vulnerable. Let's see what the Germans do. Let's do the LMG first. So it's firing into this building here on a basic 6+. It's going to be 8 because of the buildings. So an 8+ to hit the rifle squad. That's a miss. And a 9+ to hit the bazooka, which managed to find slightly better cover. That's a miss as well, which is good. The half track firing on 6, 7, 8, 9. So 6, 7, 8 for the buildings, 9 for the cover, 10 for the wall. So it's a 10 to hit the sniper. That's a miss. And it's a 10 to hit the bazooka for the same reason. That's a miss. And it's a 9 to hit the rifle squad because they didn't find any extra cover. So 9+. Oh, that's a hit. That's a hit. So rifles 1 is reduced to low morale. Okay, yeah, it's got a little bit messy at the end here. That moves us on to turn 11. Now we just need to bring in the reinforcements and we should be okay here with, if we can, once we brought this group in, then it shouldn't be any too much of a problem to get rid of these. With a bit of luck. It's a bit of a stretch to get over here though still. It's a shame that not, right, yeah. Kind of neglected this. Might be a job for the MG. I'm going to do sniper first. Am I? He's got to kind of get out of the way, really. More than anything. If anything, I want to move him into there. I don't know. Sniper, what are you doing? 3. Move to cover. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to move this sniper, I think, into this neighbouring farm. Okay, so that's moved to cover, so he maintains his cover in there. Let's do the bazooka. Okay, he's got a 6 there, so we'll take that as that's a move and fire, but I'm going to fire first, so I don't suffer any penalty for moving. It's a 7+ to hit, but it's 8 because he's firing over the wall, through a gap in the wall or whatever it might be, so that's 8. But then he's got support, so that's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4 because of the mortar as well. So 4+. That's not going to be a problem, is it? No, it nearly was, but we got rid of it. So the half track is gone. Rifles 1 has got 4, 5, so that's move or cover. Blimey, that's not good. Looks like we're going to lose someone here. Unfortunately, he can't really do much with that. Move or cover. I think he's got to take the cover, hasn't he? Hope he doesn't get shot. Wanted a rally, really. Okay, let's do these over here. Rifles 2. We're going to re-roll that. That's a move grenade. We'll just move into this farm and leave it there. Rifles 3. That's a move to cover. So he goes into the farm as well. Takes cover. And the lieutenant gets a 4, which is moved to cover as well. So he also goes into that farm. Oops, what am I doing with that? That's the one. So we've got 3 in one farm and 3 in the other. So the hex stacking limit is observed. observed. So they're all okay, they're all done. We've just got these out here. Let's have a look at the machine gun, see what it gets. Okay, it's got a 6, which is move and fire. So I think we're going to do that. I think. No, we're not, Mike. Are we? No, we're not. I don't want to move into there, because this LMG is still here. It's going to fire into this hex. And we're going to uncover that as well. The machine gun is going to move down into this hex here and attack that from around there. It's not ideal. And the mortar, I should have done the mortar first, Mike. I should have done the mortar first. Silly me. It did roll a 6 as well, which means he's going to put smoke down onto that LMG. And then my MG could have gone in and, yeah. As I say, you have more time to think when you're not filming, of course. Trying to keep it moving. So that's all done. LMG then fires at those 3 units in the building in front of it, so it's shooting with a 6. It's going to be an 8 for all of them because they're all in a farm. They're all in cover as well, so it's a 9 for everybody. It's 9 plus to hit, but then the smoke fortunately makes that 11. So almost no chance of hitting anything thanks to that smoke. So 9 on rifle 1. Oh dear, it's just got an 11. Sorry, 11 on rifle, 11 to hit, and he's got an 11. Yeah, brilliant. Told you they wouldn't get it. So he's dead because he was already low morale. 11 to hit the sniper, gets a 7. 11 to hit the bazooka, gets a 9. Everybody seems to be firing pretty well in this game, to be honest. So that's him done. That's the end of that turn. We move to turn 12. So even though I sort of cruised through this map at the early stages, got a little bit stuck at the top here, and the turns are now beginning just to run a little bit short. But we should be nearly there. Maybe sending 2 rifles with the lieutenant down there was a bit excessive. Perhaps I should have sent, you know, something else. Maybe kept a rifle squad over here. This was where the bulk of the units were. We've had to wait some time for them to come around and be useful. Rifles 2. That's a move and fire, so they hop over the wall, no restriction for them with that. And they fire at the LMG. Basic 9, it's going to be 10 because they're in the trees. 10, 9 for the bazooka. 8 for the sniper support. 7, 6 for the mortar support. That's a 7, so we've got rid of the LMG. So what we're now looking to do is uncover this. Let's do the sniper. You never know, he might get to scout. He doesn't. He has got to move to cover. Do we want to do that? Oh, I'd like to get rid of this on this turn, so let's do that. Let's do that. Let's move the sniper up to there. Move to cover, and that reveals a minefield. Woohoo! So the sniper takes a hit on a 7+ because it found the minefield. Hey, would you know it? Minefield misses. So fortunately they get away with that. And that, I think, is the end. There's no point in me carrying. I could complete my turn. I'd have to complete any German actions at the end of that turn. And the game finishes at the end of the turn in which I complete the objective. Sorry, obviously there'd be no, what am I talking about? There would be no German units on the board, but you'd have to do any minute if we were on a minefield or something. We'd have to do those mine hits. We did that mine hits, of course, because we found it. But that is it. I've cleared the game and I've won on turn 12, which is probably only about the 2nd time I've ever done that. So I'm really pleased with that result. That would, in the campaign, give me 8 victory points. However, I did lose a unit entirely, which would cost me 3 victory points. So actually I would get 5 victory points for that win, which is still pretty pleasing. Okay, let's just talk very quickly about 1 or 2 other things we didn't get a chance to see here. Tanks work in the same way as they did on Fields of Normandy 2. So if you roll a tank result on any position, you clear that position, but then a tank appears, either a Tiger or a Panzer, depending on what you roll. It's 10 for Panzer and 12 for Tiger. You don't see many Tigers in Normandy, to be fair. And most of those that were seen weren't actually Tigers. They were something else, Panzer IVs, I think, or Panthers. it then moves down the arrows. When it gets to a split, you roll a die and see which way it goes. So 1 to 4 will go that way, 5 to 6 will go that way. They tend to move off before, or they do always move off the map before the end of the turn 14, but they can restrict how many victory points you can get, of course, because they have to be off the map to win. Or you can destroy them. Panzer by assaulting it, or with the bazooka. Tiger only by assaulting it. And the Tiger hits on a 5+. Panzer hits on a 6+, and now tanks ignore buildings cover. Okay, so if you're on a building and you're adjacent to a tank, it will shoot, it will attack you, but it will ignore the building's cover. It's deemed to be using its big gun in that case, main gun in that case, and just blowing the building apart. So that's a slightly different rule. That's a rule change to Fields of Normandy 2. Artillery now has more than one position on each map. Or in fact, I think there's one map where it's only got one, but generally has 2 and sometimes even 3 positions. So again, you just roll a dice. It's A1 to 3, A4 to 6. So you roll a d6 to decide where it's going to go. If one of them is covered by a US unit, then it will automatically appear in the other hex. So we didn't get to see that. I rolled an 11, then artillery on any position, then artillery appears, but always on an A hex. It works in the same way. Apart from that, it attacks every US unit which is not in woods or buildings, but smoke and cover apply in the usual way to help. It attacks an A+, just like US artillery does. I think that's probably it. We saw a German sniper, didn't we? Although we didn't get much chance to see it in operation, but it did appear, and I explained it. Stacking limit of 3 units per tile we covered, didn't we? Walls we looked at. And that, I think, is more or less that. Better leave it there. Thanks, guys.